So I guess we can go ahead without waiting for the bracelet's approval.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm a little sick and tired of sitting around waiting for these things to call the shots.
I agree with you on that. Hell, we've been stuck with these things for far too long. It feels like we've been stuck with them for 2 years. Just, you know what? Why don't we just...
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Ow. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, God. You okay?
No! But I will be! What the hell was that?
If I didn't know better, I'd say these things are just screwing with us now.
Monsters, monsters, so bizarre. M-O-N-S-T-E-R. Monsters, monsters, yes we are. Monster, monster, high. Monster, high. Monster, so bizarre. M-O-N-S-T-E-R. Monster, monsters. The party never dies. Monster, high. Monster, high. Monster, monster, high. Freaky, chic, and fly. Monster, high. We're student bodies. We've got spirits, yes we do. We've got spirits, how about you? We've got spirits, yes we do. We've got spirits, how about you?
Alright, 10 down, 2 more to go. What's next?
How do you feel about ghosts?
Yeah, I think ghosts are cool. Let me guess, there's a bunch of them in this film, huh?
Do we ever? This is Haunted. Haunted was released in March of 2015 and was originally called Haunted Halls before it was shortened and finalized to the current title.
Much like Fright's camera action, there's no cold open. After the opening credits, we see Monster High in a diving sports event, where Rochelle seems a bit sad.
I totally thought that would crack you up.
Oh, pardon. Sorry, Twyla. I was just wondering what it is like to do that.
Oh, I guess gargoyles can't swim, huh?
No, I'd sink right to the bottom. But I bet it's amazing.
Gargoyles can't swim because they're made of stone in this universe. That makes sense, but what if there are gargoyles that are made of stone that are able to find a way to swim somehow? Or maybe there are gargoyles that aren't made of stone. Oh, I'm giving the creators so many ideas for other gargoyles. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That would make a lot of sense.
You're overthinking it again.
Says the guy who made a video talking about all the intricacies of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that Hey! Anyway, random character element aside, it would appear that everybody's favorite gossiping ghost has apparently run out of gossip. Claudine promises to help her find a story after the meet. In the meantime, Spectre talks to some of the other ghosts.
Come on, Ghost! You've got to have a story for the ghostly gossip! Operetta!
Let's see. Okay, Manny and Iris broke up. Then they got back together. And then
News! I need something fresh!
Wait, Opera is a ghost? No, that can't be right. Just be joking, unless creators are... Oh my god, they actually are making the Phantoms ghosts? No, the Dale O'Brien no chant, no! That's not what the Phantom of the Opera is! He's an actual human being, not a ghost. Being the daughter of the Phantom of the Opera does not make her a freaking ghost!
Yeah, sorry guys, you kind of dropped the ball on this one. Cartoon Monster Universe aside, up until this point, Operetta has never been referred to or even remotely acted like a ghost in any of the web series cartoons, any of the books, on the website, or in any of the movies up to this point. You're just making stuff up for plot convenience.
Spectre makes the mistake of going to Toralei for news. Torlight's been suspended from the cheer squad for cheating on an essay, and so she decides to take it out on Claudine.
New post on the ghostly gossip.
Take care, loyal readers. This reporter just got a hot tip that the werewolves of Monster High have fallen victim to an outbreak of werefleas.
Ew.
As it turns out, Draculaura has a problem of her own.
But it doesn't stop there. More and more strange things keep happening to her, prompting Draculaura to ask for advice from her friends.
How did you get it to do that,
Don't know. You'll have to ask my ghost friend.
Okay, I don't remember doing that, but apparently I'm an amazing hairstylist.
We forgot to mention this in the last video, but yeah, Serena's kind of a dingbat. Twyla suggests asking another ghost about Draculaura's problem. Meanwhile, Claudine has words with Spectra.
No, you didn't mean anything by it, but you've got to be more careful posting rumors like that. You gotta check your facts first.
Spectra's gotta learn not to trust rumors or gossip anymore. The lesson's obvious, yes, but I'm kind of curious how they're going to execute it. When the ghouls tell Spectra about the haunting, she freaks out and immediately leaves, promising it won't happen again. Claudine, worried for her friend's behavior, decides herself and the ghouls to follow where she went. Turns out it was the attic in the school, where they see Spectra unlock a hidden door and see her disappear into the strange light. They follow her through it, where they arrive on a boat before facing...
You're not supposed to be here.
Seriously? I don't think you're supposed to be here. Sorry about that. I get carried away with this whole Reaper thing sometimes. I'm River. River Styx.
She's named after the Greek mythology of the river that forms the boundary between Earth and the underworld. Guys, I have nothing funny to add there. That's actually the coolest thing so far in this franchise. And given that she mentions her father is a Reaper, he's either death itself or Charon.
Oh, God.
What is it?
Her name is River Styx, and she has a boat. You know what we have to do now, right?
No.
Give me just a second while I get this out of the way.
Was that necessary?
If we hadn't, somebody in the comments was going to ask why.
Or somebody in the comments will ask why we didn't do the Lonely Islands I'm on a boat song.
Did somebody say confetti cannons?
I think River Styx and Pinkie Pie are gonna get along just fine. Wait, actually, does Pinkie Pie still use her confetti cannon? Well, I'm asking. I haven't seen the show since season 2. Oh, she does? Okay. Wait, what do you mean that's Wild Sparkles and Alicorn? How much did I miss?
Spectra shows up, and she and River dump a ton of exposition for everyone.
There's another world, a ghost world, where all the different types of ghosts come from.
It's a secret because most ghosts are pretty nervous around outsiders. You're what we ghosts refer to as solids.
Solids. Her story checks out.
Most ghosts have never even seen outsiders from the monster world. They'd probably be pretty scared if they saw you.
On top of that, it turns out there hasn't been a haunting from Ghost World ever since the capture and imprisonment of the Red Lady, a ghost who caused a ton of chaos in the monster world. Right? Then a ghost pirate ship shows up. No, we're not kidding. Just see for yourselves. It's glorious.
Prepare to be boarded, you unseaworthy brine shrimp.
We're introduced to Vandalia de Blooms, a ghost pirate in training who befriends the group but also raises concerns about the other ghouls visiting the school. River lends the ghouls special cloaks that make them ghost-like, but they aren't able to phase through walls or doors.
We got them at a discount. Some organization ordered a ton of these but never picked them up after the order came in. Something about a kid with a giant key traveling with a talking duck and a giant dog. Weird. Anyway, the ghouls arrive at Haunted High and see things are rather different compared to Monster High.
Oh, that's a strange fashion statement.
Those are detention chains, courtesy of Principal Revenant.
Detention? They're being punished?
There are lots of different types of chains, but they all work the same way. As long as you're in detention, you can't leave Haunted High.
That sounds much worse than how detention was in my high schools.
Spectra and the ghouls head to the cremateria where they run into Kiyomi, who in Japanese folklore is a Napapera Bo, or better known as a faceless ghost. Kiyomi was Spectra's best friend before she transferred to Monster High.
Laura. Hello. Kiyomi, you seem familiar to me. Have we met before?
No, I don't think so.
Kiyomi's haunting Draculaura. It's obvious, yes, but I'm kind of curious how it's going to play out.
As the ghouls ask around about the haunting, they're interrupted by a graffiti-spraying ghost named Porter Geist. Yes, we know. Porter basically rebels against the detention chains by spraying graffiti all over the place. This brings the attention of the hall monitors, past, present, and future.
Present, the leader is always on the lookout for someone breaking the rules. That one is past. She keeps track of every student infraction at Haunted High.
Give him the chains!
And the ghost of future, he has a way of predicting what you're gonna do before you do it.
It's chains for you.
No!
Just the sight of those scalawags shivers my timbers.
Man, the ghosts of past, present, and future have seen better days. I mean, should they look in order angelic, giant, and death itself? This makes no sense. Why change the models far from the original depictions?
Because aside from some superficial similarities, this movie has nothing to do with A Christmas Carol.
Good point.
We have a 1424 in the cremateria.
Oh, it's that Paintergeist again, isn't it?
Ah, come on! It's ghost paint.
Wait a second, I recognize that voice. That's Todd Habercorn!
And we've had plenty of well-known voice actors in these movies so far. Hell, I can think of 3 right off the top of my head. Laura Bailey, Aaron Fitzgerald, Cam Clark.
Yes, but his voice is more distinct. Right away I can recognize that voice as Natsu from Fairy Tale, or Watanuki from Holix, or even more recently in the Viz Media dub, Jedi from Sailor Moon. I mean, even though he is a good voice actor, he's very talented when he does the villains right, or he does the jokesters or the crazy people right. Those are so good. But when he uses the happy-go-lucky tone that I've seen from Natsu so many times, used here as for Porter, it's becomes repetitive, and I actually think more of him is Natsu than Porter.
The hall monitors chase Porter over the school where Spectra in a moment finds her new story, follows them. Yet, too caught up in her own writing, she doesn't know where she's looking and, well...
Oh God, why not just play the music from Here to Eternity, for crying out loud?
Porter gets caught and we meet Principal Reverend, who spots Spectra asking her where she's from.
Are you one of my students?
No, ma'am. I'm Spectra Vondergeist. I'm just visiting from Monster High. Maybe should have left that part out.
Gee, you think?
Obviously not, or she would have kept her mouth shut. Revenant reveals the ghouls as solids, and pretty much since Revenant's policy is to make up new rules as needed to inflict more chains on anyone she wants, the monitors move in to bind the ghouls. Porter causes a distraction to help the ghouls escape back to the boat. The monitors give chase and try to hit the ghouls with the chains, but it turns out they only work on ghosts. The group manages to escape back to Monster High.
Hang on!
Holy crap, that was like a C-hour horror movie!
The ghouls need to go back to save Spectra, but with the new rule against solids visiting Haunted High, they might get their new friend in more trouble.
So, to go back to Ghost World, all you ghouls have to do is turn into ghosts. Ready? And go!
I see a lot of staring, but not a lot of turning into ghosts.
We can't turn into ghosts.
No, actually, Serena's totally right.
Thank you. What am I right about?
Listen, if we're ghosts, then we're not breaking the rules if we go back. And I know how we can do it.
They're going to consult a witch to help them out? Actually, come to think about it, I don't think we've seen any witches or warlocks in the Monster High universe. Do they even exist? Or do they not exist?
Anyway, back in the ghost world, Spectra is brought before Principal Revenant, who we finally see in the... Okay, not in the flesh, but in person. Spectra tries to convince her to let her go back to Monster High, but...
You're not the only ghost who goes there.
Well, no. There are a lot of ghosts at Monster High. Every kind of monster is welcome.
How very progressive.
Insert your own political joke here.
Spectra gets detention, being told she can't leave until she completes 10,000 essays on Oy vey, Ghost Stravinsky, and then she has to do it all over again. As Spectra leaves, she asks about whether Reverend has heard anything about the hauntings at Monster High.
Miss Revenant, you haven't heard anything about any of your students haunting the monster world? Have you?
Of course not! There hasn't been a haunting since...
The Red Lady?
Oh, yes, that's the one.
Terrible. Just terrible.
I'm gonna make another wild guess that she is the Red Lady. And once again, I'm just gonna let the story play out.
Porter and Spectra start a conversation, which results in a friendship starting between the two, and who knows, perhaps something even more.
But really, who cares?
Wait, what?
Look, we know how all this is going to play out. Porter and Spectre are going to snipe at each other throughout the whole movie, and then eventually Porter will learn not to be an ass and they'll wind up together by the end. It's standard romance subplot number 3, and quite frankly, I am sick to death of it.
Okay.
No, I'm absolutely serious. At this point, I would be perfectly content to never see a single romantic subplot in any movie ever again. They've all been done, they've all been played out in every possible permutation, and frankly, at this point, it's like shipping is the end-all be-all of 90% of the fandoms on the internet. As if all of a sudden the only story worth telling is who gets together with who. But whatever, let's move on.
Okay, I got an idea. Someone get him a scotch on the rocks! And then do me nice!
Twyla takes the girls to her house, the Boogie Mansion, where we see how her father does his job. Basically, the Boogeyman has a collection of magical sands called Boogie Sand, which can turn him into any monster he likes. This leads to an admittedly amusing sequence where the girls try to find the ghost sand.
Is this it? No, that is not it. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What's that?
I'm trying to write down everything that happens for Spectra. This is gonna make a great story for her blog.
And I'm sure Claudine taking notes isn't going to bite them in the ass at all.
They finally find the right sand and get ready to use it, which...
On the count of 3. 1... and 3.
Twyla, you're a genius!
Draculara, you're a ghost.
Twyla is clearly a graduate of the Daria Morgendorfer School of Deadpan Snark.
Oh hey, it's the new doll line! Though I'm kind of curious how long it took this time. Oh, hey, that's not bad. Wait, is there an asterisk? Why is there an asterisk? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you, captions.
Back at Haunted High, after more stupid meet-cute between Spectra and Porter, Porter tells Spectra he suspects Revenant is up to something.
All the rules and chains she gives out, there's gotta be more to it than just handing out detention. It's worse than it's ever been. It's not fair. It's not right. I need help. I need someone smart, like you, to help me.
But back at Monster High, something sinister is afoot.
Operetta!
Help me, Johnny! Don't let me go!
Baby, baby, baby!
Spectra, where are you going?
We're going to check our facts. This library has records on every ghost that's ever lived in Ghost World.
Why?
Pardon?
Why would these records be in the Haunted High Library? I mean, presumably Ghost World is a lot bigger than what we're seeing in this movie. So if that's the case, why would these important records be kept in the local high school?
Well, maybe... no. It could be that... No, that doesn't make any sense either. Yeah, I got nothing.
Of course, my complaint turns out to be a moot point anyway, since they don't find anything on Revenant in the library.
Nothing.
Nothing bad about Principal Revenant.
Nothing at all about Principal Revenant. There's no record of her at all. Like she never existed.
God damn it. Porter believes the lack of info on Revenant proves she's up to something, but Spectra is still skeptical. Until...
I don't understand. In 1 minute, Monster High. Then all of a sudden we're hit with these chains and pulled to the ghost world.
Some kind of mandatory transfer?
Well, don't you ghosts worry. Spectra and I are on the case.
Well, they're all doomed.
Meanwhile, Dracula and the others return to Haunted High, and Kiyomi and Avdala give them some help in learning how to fly, saying that it's like swimming. Eventually, they get the hang of it, which gives Rochelle the opportunity to do something she's always wanted to do.
Now that I am weightless, there is something I just have to try. Cannonball!
You know, it's a really minor subplot, but I'm actually glad Rochelle was finally able to swim.
Passing through the creepateria, Spectra overhears a bunch of rumors about other monsters, which she knows for a fact are ridiculous and stupid. And she's finally had enough.
Gossip is garbage! You have no idea what you're talking about! None of that is true! Those are just dumb rumors!
Spectra reunites with the ghouls, and she tells them that other Monster High ghosts are trapped right along with her. And it seems the hall monitors have gone drunk with power!
They are giving detention for everything now. Look at how many chains there are in here.
Don't you know staring is against the rules?
Staring? No. I don't even have a face.
Oh, you just got served, prison, yeah! I'm okay.
Recognizing the girls, Past calls in Revenant, who demands to know how they turn themselves into ghosts. When they won't comply, the monitors send out chains to capture them, but Kiyomi takes one meant for Draculaura, giving them a chance to escape. Porter leads them to a hidden room where they can hide out from Revenant and the monitors. While trying to figure out what Revenant wants, Kiyomi lets a secret slip.
What does she want with that boogie sand?
We didn't tell you about the boogie sand.
Wow! Kiyomi, you were there! You were the orb at the Boogie Mansion! You're the one hunting me!
Yes.
Spectra decides to do something about Reverend's rampage, but Porter doesn't want her to go because...
I already have detention chains. How could it get any worse?
I could lose you.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Whatever.
Let me enjoy this. This is actually sweet.
Anyway, Spectra eavesdrops outside Reverend's office, where Reverend is apparently planning to abduct all the students at Monster High. What for? Hell, we don't know yet. But before Spectra can learn more, she's caught by Future and finds out something shocking about the principal.
You're wearing chains!
I'm wearing a lot of chains. Do you like them? I'm more than happy to share them with you, dear.
That's a lot of chains.
Porter rescues Spectra but gets hit with the chains himself. Revenant demands he tell her where the others are. Porter naturally refuses, but Revenant shows him a key which can apparently be used to remove the chains.
Meanwhile, back at the hideout, Kiyomi demonstrates how she was able to get from the ghost world to the monster world.
And some ghosts can use that energy to open little windows between the worlds. It's usually more interesting than this.
Watching paint dry is much more interesting than anything Hoodoo is doing. Why couldn't you let me destroy him?
Spectra returns and let the others know what happened, but is interrupted when Revenant and the Monitors arrive, chaining all of them and revealing that Porter sold them out.
I offered to reduce his detention for good behavior, and so he gave you up. Very easily.
No, that can't be true. I don't believe you.
Look, all his chains are gone.
You, how could you?
I want to reference it.
Don't you dare!
Too late!
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Look on the bright side. At least it wasn't actually Firefly, right, Con? Con? You're mad at me, are you?
Moving on.
Alright, fine. Pizza's on me. I'll buy.
Reverend then puts the school on lockdown, claiming that the Solids are about to invade the school and saying she has a plan to stop them.
Turning her attention to the girls, Revenant offers to remove their chains in exchange for them revealing how they turned into ghosts. And then...
What's that? What are you doing there?
Taking notes. When all this is over, my ghoul Spectra here is gonna write a story telling the world what kind of principal you really are.
Oh my god, Claudine, now is not the time to be jotting everything down from the freaking villain. You know what? This is the 5th most stupidest thing I have ever seen.
Now, with the information she needs, Remnant sends the Monitors to retrieve the ghost sand, stealing River's boat in the process. The blame game occurs and Spectra goes to let Porter have it.
I know you're all really angry at me, but I can explain.
Angry? Angry doesn't even begin to describe what we're feeling, Hatergeist.
I understand, but if you'll
you understand. Must be pretty hard to understand when you've got paint for brains.
Spectra, please.
I know it's one thing to hurt me, but what you did affected all of my girlfriends. And that's a line that you just don't cross!
Oh my god, just let the poor ghost talk, for crying out loud!
As it turns out, Porter only sold them out to see if the key works, which he then stole. He also discovered that the chains can't be broken, only transferred to other ghosts. He frees the ghouls, taking their chains onto himself. He gives the key to Spectra, telling her to use it to free the Monster High ghost.
Meanwhile, after an unfunny series of gags, the Monitors find the ghost sand and report back to Revenant. At the same time, Spectra and the others free the Monster High ghosts and get them onto Vandala's ship to head back to the monster world. But Spectra hesitates.
Vandala, can you wait for just a minute? I need to see Porter.
Aww.
Calm down, I just need to say thank you one more time. Stop that. I'll just be right back.
Aww.
She said, "Stop it."
Fine! I'll enjoy the romance somewhere else! No, I'm not coming back. No, you can't make... No. Okay, fine, I'm coming back.
While Spectra and Porter are being cute, Reverend announces a spirit rally where she finally reveals her master plan.
As we speak, our noble hall monitors are traveling to Monster High. They are carrying a special powder I created that will permanently transform all of the students into ghosts. And when they are ghosts, I'll give them well-deserved detention chains as punishment for sinister, solid scheming.
Spectra tells the rest of the group Revenant's plan, but as she does so, she comes to a realization.
Wait, that's it! The chains! This is all about the detention chains! It's like Porter said. The chains can't be broken. Only suddenly transferred. Principal Revenant wasn't just wearing those chains. She's being punished by them.
No, really? Wow, what a shocking revelation.
Spectra sends the rest of the group to stop the monitors, while she heads back to Haunted High to do what she does best. Report the news! But first, she needs to confirm her suspicions.
Yes, this is it!
Unfortunately, Vandalia's ship is going too slow to catch the monitors before they start using the sand. Dracula convinces Kiyomi to open a portal to Monster High, which gets them there just in time to stop the monitors.
Ready? Aim!
Gil!
Yah-har! Har har!
No! Okay, what now?
Meanwhile, back at Haunted High, Spectra reveals the truth.
No, all this is because she wants to get rid of her own chains. And she has a lot of them because Principal Revenant is the Red Lady. This building, it used to be her home, but her chains kept her from leaving, so she turned it into a school.
Wait a second. If this was the Red Lady's home, how did no other ghost realize it got turned into a Haunted High, or if it disappeared? This makes no sense. How did no other ghost look at the building and go, "Hey, Greg, doesn't this look like where the Red Lady used to be imprisoned? You know, for all the bad stuff she did?" And they just went, "I'm sure it didn't look like that. I'm sure it was on the other side of the realm." This literally makes no sense. And you know what? It becomes a plot hole onto itself.
We also have one pissed off evil ghost.
If I can't have new students to put in detention, I'll just give all my chains to you.
Back at Monster High, the monitors chase the ghouls, but Kiyomi gets the idea to open another portal back to the ghost world. It isn't big enough, but Dracula and the others lend her their power, and the portal opens wide enough for the boat to go through, right as Remnant sends out the chains, which, instead of hitting Spectra, hit the boat and the monitors instead.
Not that Reverend really cares, since she doesn't have her chains anymore, allowing her to leave and continue haunting the monster world.
No! Why can't I leave? I don't have any more chains. Who is doing this to me?
You're doing it to yourself.
No.
Yes, the chains are coming from you. All those chains you've given out, and yet you weren't getting any closer to freedom. Because with every haunting, every unjustified detention, every lie, rumor, and bit of gossip you spread, you were creating more chains for yourself.
With the realization of the new chains, about everything she's done, the Red Lady decides to take on the burden she originally had. Using the key, she takes all the chains back, deciding to earn her freedom by paying back from all the terrible things she's committed. Like she should have been doing already.
I am sorry I made you all part of this. These are my chains to work off, no matter how long it takes. Not yours. And I hope that you'll allow me to continue being your principal while I pay for my mistakes.
Oh, for God's sake. 4 minutes till the end of the movie, and poof, the bad guy just suddenly decides to change their evil ways. Now, maybe I could have bought this ending if there had been any indication throughout the rest of the movie that Revenant has any sort of remorse for her actions, but she doesn't. So this whole thing falls flat. And it really sucks because it's one of the worst ways to end this kind of story. The main character makes a speech, and with that one argument, the villain suddenly realizes, oh shit, I'm an asshole. I mean, the only other ending worse than that is, you know, it was all a dream.
These are the chains that bind me, punished for the crimes that I have made. Oh dear God, they got this from A Christmas Carol.
What?
Think about it. The Red Lady was punished and cursed with chains she would live with for the rest of her eternal life. Just like how Marley was punished with heavy chains, forged from his lifetime of greed and selfishness. In a way, Marley's the inspiration for Principal Reverend, and it will make sense why the ghosts of past, present, and future are her hall monitors. and don't look at me that way. Yes, I overthought this, but it makes the most sense. And in a way, this is kind of a Christmas movie without the Christmas in it. Surprisingly.
Well, yeah, of course, but honestly, it's really not relevant either to story or symbolism for this movie. It's just there. So, let's just wrap this up.
I think it's about time these two schools got to know each other.
Of course, the film ends with a party between Haunted High and Monster High, with Torline getting karma from the rumor she told Spectra earlier.
Why am I so itchy all of a sudden?
Oh yeah, I've seen this before. You've got sea fleas!
Sea fleas!
And, as expected, Spectra and Porter start a long-distance relationship with one another. Aww.
There's also another scene after the credits, but honestly, it's just more of the hall monitors messing around with the boogie sand, so who really cares?
Haunted, despite a couple plot holes, is one of the better written Monster High films. Having the focus on Spectra was a nice change of pace, since we don't get to see the after effects of posting a rumor or gossip. She had great character development that wasn't forced, especially with the romance with Porter. It felt natural, at its own pace, and if we assume time moves differently in the ghost world, we can assume days pass than hours for the relationship. It was also interesting to see more of a different world that wasn't Monster High, establishing the ghost world, the types of ghost, Haunted High, and even the setting was, well, generally creepy. Reverence served well as a villain. Even if you saw her being the Red Lady a mile away, she did a good job. Particularly her own character development towards the end. That's a great moment, but I do agree with Colin that it felt rather rushed. The animation is good as always, except for the glow effects. They're fine after first viewing, but in repeated views, they start to hurt the eyes a bit. Overall, I think I found my favorite film, next to Frights Camera's action and 13 Wishes, and I highly recommend you check Haunted out when you get the chance.
Despite my complaints, yeah, Haunted is actually pretty good. Even though it continues the series' track record of setting up mysteries that even the target age group could figure out in 10 seconds, it's saved by interesting characters, a fairly decent if by the numbers plot, and some really cool visuals and designs. The focus on Spectra gives her some much-needed development and starts her on the road to legitimate journalism and not just gossip-mongering. Overall, it's a decent middle-of-the-road entry in the series. Well, I'm not seeing any key around here. What about you?
I can sense it. That's too faint.
Well, do you think you can pinpoint where it is?
Fortunately not. Though the good news, it should turn up any moment now. Bad news, I just don't know where. Did that. What's that? Oh, I guess I heard nothing. This is not good. We got Spectra, ironically, but it came with a note.
A note? Well, that's new.
Well, I've learned never to expect good things from these. It's how I had MOD as a villain. Let's see. Here's the last two almost final keys. But beware, when the whole ordeal is over, some misfortune will be coming your way. What the hell? What the hell does that even mean?
Great. Sounds like we're gonna have to be on our toes for the final movie.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Something doesn't feel right about this note. It just feels so out of place.
You know, it'd probably be a good idea to get some backup.
Wait, what do you mean, backup?
Look, you've seen enough of these things to know what's gonna happen. First off, we need to get all the keys in the same place, which means you and I need to be in the same place. And secondly, something is probably going to happen once we get that final key to try to prevent us from using them to get rid of the bracelets. So it would probably be in our best interest to be somewhere where there's other reviewers around who can lend us a hand if we need it.
When you're right, that's a good idea. We should probably meet up at the convention. I mean, that's how it goes with videos like this. How about Colorado? It's easy, sweet, and also, it's Canada.
No, I don't have a passport, and I frankly don't think I can get one in time. Where's some of the other places within the country that reviewers tend to congregate?
Well, with everybody all over the country, the only place I can think of is... Oh my god, why didn't I think of it first? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
You know what? I think I am.
Where the cool kids rule. Monster, monster high, monster high, monster, monster high. Come on, don't be shy, monster high. The party never dies. Monster high, monster high, monster, monster high. Freaky, chic and fly, monster high. Where student bodies lie.
Freaky's got me falling apart. Dracula stealing my heart. Claudine Wolfie make me howl at the moon. Penny, you're a finest fish in this lagoon. Clear the Nile, you so beguiled. Even though you act so vile. And Deuce has stone cold style. These are my boobs, my skeleton crew. A little strange, but so are you. Don't you wanna be a monster too?
Oh, Freaky just got fabulous.